13 years. That's terrible.
Yes. I don't know. That's what I said, because we were supposed to have some extra, it's supposed to go until 5:10. So I just said, let's leave it right now because like everyone left, and let's try and get this one, make sure that it's okay. Yeah. I'm supposed to be like asking questions just because it's like a whole bunch going on right now. Like there are like 8 going on right now. So they need people to moderate.
This is through Barnard?
Mm-hmm.
Which this next school we're gonna have?
It's the same school and the same presentation.
Oh, for other people?
Mm-hmm.
How do y'all advertise?
I don't know.
Thank you.
How long is this one gonna be till?
5:55.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh my goodness. Crazy.
It happened at the end rather than the beginning, but hopefully, I don't know. It might have been that our 40 minutes were up, but that doesn't make sense because I think usually Zoom will send you like a message to say something's up.
I did get a message, but I don't know if it said that, but I didn't really pay attention to it because I was trying to click my thing. I did get a message. Zoom did send me something.
But usually it'll, like in the Zooms that I've been in, it'll say,
Right.
it'll send to everyone saying there's 10 minutes. Zoom.
Right. And there's like a little clock, right, in the corner.
Yeah. So I don't think it was that.
Okay, good. It's like, oh well, you know. And they weren't responding to you anyway, right? When you were asking, like, can you hear me?
Yeah, no.
Okay. They were like, I'm not. I'm just here.
Just here so I don't get fined.
Okay. One down, one more to go.
Yes. And Jess said that all of the sessions are opt-in, so I don't know. Maybe, I guess that means that maybe more people will come, maybe less people will come. Already there are more people in the waiting room.
Sorry, I'm looking at, as diversity coordinator, I'm getting a lot of emails about our students and of course everything that's going on.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So were you incredibly bored by my presentation?
No, I was like really interested. I was like, ooh, Bloomberg certification. Like I want one of those.
Right.
Like maybe I could, baby my face up so I can sneak in and get one of those.
Well, those are the things that we were talking about again with remote learning that we may have to tap into letting other people come get our certificate, and you get a Marymount certificate. I mean, the Bloomberg, and like I said, I have to go back and get my own certificate.
Definitely. In the Columbia, like they call it Columbia Confessions, where people just like put anonymous thoughts of the Columbia University ecosystem. And at the beginning of quarantine, someone's like, please, for the love of God, don't take your $1,000 that you've earned and invest it in stocks that you know nothing about. Like actually take a class and learn something, because you will lose money. So that's what's been keeping me from aimlessly just gambling, I suppose.
Woo! So this starts at 5:15?
Yes.
Oh, let me put my slides back.
Let me make you host.
Do you see my slides right now? No. Was I good on time?
I think.
I can't see the chat,
Oh, okay.
but I can see you.
The thing was, I think that you stopped when there was 10 minutes left.
Okay.
And, for the crowd that we had, I thought that was good. What I'll say is, when we let people in, I'll make sure to let them know. Make sure you're writing questions in the chat. And I'll ask everyone to think of like a question or two to think of. So maybe leave 15 minutes this time instead of 10, since we have more participants in the waiting room, whereas last time we had one. Does that sound good? Or
sorry, wait, hold on, so I can give you my attention. I'm just trying to. It's supposed to start at 5:15. Is that what? Okay, hold on. Make sure I can share my screen. Present mode. Okay, stop share. Should I stop recording and start again? Do we need all that from before, or?
I guess stop recording and start recording again. I don't know.
I just don't know if it depends on how they decide to edit it. Maybe Gina's got that all under control. You said stop it and edit and start again?
Yeah, that's what well, actually, you know what? I'd say just leave it. And I'm sure they can cut it in any way that they want to.
Oh, okay.
But I would hate for them to say that we can't start recording again. I've never been in charge of recording on Zoom. But yeah, I think we can start now. I'll say questions, and at around like 5:40, like 5:43, like.
Okay, perfect. I'm admitting everyone.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Wait to see when everyone has their audio connected. All right. Hello, everyone. Parker, did you want to say something first?
Yeah, hi, my name's Parker. I'm a junior at Barnard College up on the Upper West Side. And I'm just going to be helping around with questions and anything that you guys are wondering or interested in after today's session. So we'll have a 15-minute Q&A session. So I'd just be asking that you guys think of questions while we're going through this, and feel free to type them in the chat so that we can have 15 minutes to ask questions.
All right. Thank you, Parker. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Kalia Adams. I'm with Marymount School, and thank you for being with me today. I know today is a day, but I appreciate you coming out, and I know this is for your wonderful children, and that's very important. And hopefully being here, it will be all worth it. And I think that's actually how I'm starting my presentation in regards to Marymount School. Let me share my screen. And here we go. So again, my name is Kalia Adams, and I'm with Marymount School. So welcome to this presentation. During this time, like I said, it is a very hard time. And as you look into schools, I want you to think about what school would really take care of my child during times like these. And our head of school is one of the only head of schools that is a woman of color. So we are an all-girl Catholic school, and our head of school is not only a woman, but a woman of color. And this was a letter that she wrote the other day. I invite all parents, teachers, students, alumni to stand up and speak out against inequity, racism, and violence when you see it. As human rights activist Desmond Tutu said, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. As a community, we must continue to affirm our values and live out the RSHM mission that all may have life and have it to the full. We must not be afraid to actively participate in difficult but honest conversations about justice and equity, about race and inclusion, about earned and unearned privileges. We must commit ourselves to raising self-aware, compassionate, racially conscious children who will serve as agents of change to transform the world. We must not let this burden rest on the oppressed. And that is our head of school, Conception R. Oliver. She's our headmistress. And I think this is perfect in this time, because here is a head of school that is willing to take a stand. And it just shows who we are as a school. When I say that we are a school of Catholic beliefs, we are a school that believes in social justice, and this is how our social justice plays out. I'm going to show you a video a little bit about myself.
Hello, my name is Kalia Adams, and I'm the diversity coordinator here at Marymount. The best part of diversity work is that you have the opportunity to really look at all the different types of perspectives. You get to explore things with a different lens, and I have many perspectives. One, because I'm a mother here at Marymount with a daughter in the 4th grade, and I have a son in the 6th grade at Collegiate. So I really understand the single-sex experience, and also spy on the boys to make sure we are always a step ahead. I'm also an alum who started in the 1st grade, so I have the perspective of looking at where we have been as a community and where we are going. And I have the opportunity to also work at an institution that values equity and excellence, knowing that we are not perfect, but we are willing to go the extra mile to make sure that through our RSHM goals, that all may have life and that there is unity through diversity. At Marymount, I'm part of the health and wellness team, and this is because who the girls are and their well-being is so important to us. We want to make sure the students maintain their individual spark and learn even more about who they are with all of their unique characteristics from the moment they enter Marymount and beyond. We know that everyone must feel safe and welcome in their environment to achieve their full potential. A welcoming, safe, and inclusive environment for everyone is not only a moral imperative of our community, but it also directly impacts our student success. So here at Marymount, we foster that through our diversity initiatives under GRACE. GRACE stands for Global Relationships and Cultural Exchange. These programs not only highlight our diversity, but put a light on how inclusive we are. We do this by having courageous conversations at events such as our GRACE dinner, GRACE meetings, graceful mornings, and also through our affinity groups. I'm here to basically say, I have been where you are. When you finish your time at Marymount, we want your girls to be global citizens with a lens on the world that is empathetic, caring, and knowledgeable. As a diversity coordinator, I'm here not only for your daughters, but also for you as parents. Thank you. Can't wait to see you here at Marymount.
Well, with all these schools that you've been seeing today, I'm sure that you're trying to figure out, well, what school is best for my child? What school will have the perfect fit? Well, as you come to Marymount, there are certain things that set us apart, and we like to use these images so that way we can really let you know what are the highlights that Marymount has. And I also like to go not in order, so hopefully that you can follow me. I'd like to start with the apple. One, we are in New York City, but that's not what the apple represents. It represents Apple, the Apple computers and such. We are the only school that has won the Apple Award. And that means that Apple allows us to receive Apple products for every child in our school. So starting in kindergarten, every child gets their own iPad. And then as we move into our upper middle school, they get their own MacBook Air. How we receive this award is because every single teacher at Marymount has to take a test and make sure that they are up to date in terms of the technology and information that comes along with Apple and their Apple education. And every year we have to make sure that we retake the test in order to maintain this Apple Award. So I think that's very, it's a fun note to have, because I always tell the students, I say, well, you can't fool us because we get to learn about all the tricks that happen in Apple before they do. So we're a step ahead of them. Also, as you see, there's a girl there with her cap on. We are an all-girls school. Like I said in the video, it is so important, the single-sex education. A lot of people aren't sure if they want to have single-sex education, but I think even as an alum, that the single-sex education is very important. You are not bogged down by stereotypes. You're able to really focus, and there's lots of statistics that show the benefits of single-sex education, which is why I also have both of my children, my son at a single-sex school and my daughter at a single-sex school. And I also have a 5-month-old. That little baby that my daughter was carrying was not hers. That little one belongs to me. The globe that you see there, not only, as mentioned in the video, that we call our diversity initiatives GRACE, which stands for Global Relationships and Cultural Exchange, but the global aspect is that we are a global school. We have schools all around the world that we partner with, that we do exchanges with, and we make sure, again, as part of our narrative, that our girls know about the world and are understanding and empathetic about everywhere and everyone. Our building here that we actually have 3 buildings. We have one on 97th Street, we have one on 84th Street, and one on 82nd Street. And those are our 3 buildings where our students are. So if you're coming to Marymount in kindergarten and you go all the way through the 12th grade, you also have a change in scenery. Not that there's change in the family values that we have, but the house, again, also represent that we are family-like. This is our house. This becomes your house as parents as well as the students. Again, I've been there since the 1st grade. It is my house. I don't think I'm leaving. Hopefully they're not trying to kick me out, but I really love the school, and truly I have never left. The light bulb, it indicates that we are innovative, that we do lots in the science, that we are forward thinkers, that our students go above and beyond in regards to technology and everything that they're learning. And I think that it is a spark of genius that we combine innovation and arts to make sure that our girls are creative and thinking outside of the box. That's so important. The hands and the heart, we are givers. A lot of the times when you're going through this process, you're going to say, again, what schools do I want? Do I want a school that's all about learning, 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 learning? Or do I want a school that is about the heart? And I always say I chose Marymount and Marymount chose me because in the end, especially in today's world that we're looking at, I want a child that will grow up with a good heart as well as a good mind. But the heart for Marymount comes first before the education. So if you're looking for a school that is strictly education and no heart, this probably is not the place for you. We lead with the heart and the mind. So we're creating global citizens that are empathetic, that have a heart, and that are also super duper smart. So we're building a full package that are leaders in the boardroom that will also say thank you and please. So that's how I like to put it. Again, I mentioned our global education. Here you just have a picture of our Marymount singers. And you don't just have to, let's just say you're not comfortable with your daughter going over to Spain, to Barcelona, to one of our schools and spaces. Our Marymount singers, they travel. If they join this group, you're traveling with a group of girls around the world to have concerts. That also happens in some of our Model UN, where we're doing different programs that don't keep you just in the Marymount School or just in New York City. You're traveling, you're exploring. Again, going back to this global idea, diversity, equity, inclusion, especially on everybody's mind. How do you break down conversations about topics that are happening like today? We have something that's called community norms. This is posted in all of our buildings, part of every single one of our divisions, because in order to be a part of our community, you have to have difficult conversations. You have to exchange, again, in the grace phrase about being able to exchange who you are and to have conversation. You have to have these community norms. We have to be on the same page, because in no place, no matter what school you're in, what job you're in, no one is going to be the same in their beliefs. You're going to have people on different sides of the spectrum. So we decided to have these norms. Be fully present, speak from the I perspective, be self-responsible and self-challenging, listen, and process, and lean into discomfort. You can go ahead and read the others on your own, but I think leaning into discomfort is where we, a lot of the times, even as adults, find challenges, but we teach our students at a very young age to lean into discomfort. There's so many programs that we have. I know you heard in the video that we have affinity groups. We have affinity groups, again, one of the only schools that also have affinity groups starting in kindergarten. We're building the self-confidence. We want you as an individual to love yourself, to know yourself, be comfortable in the skin you're in, and be able to speak on it and travel all the way through school with knowing that you are special, you are important, and you deserve to be a part of this community. Again, I also mentioned that we are an all-girl Catholic school, Catholicism. This is a picture of our chapel that we have. This is in our 84th Street building. Each school has a chapel that they go to. We are not 100% Catholic. You could be of any religion to be at Marymount. We really are more of a spiritual school. I was not Catholic and I attended Marymount. We learn about world religion. Again, it's the understanding of leading for social justice. And I always say they used, because they had bracelets and everything for it, like, what would Jesus do? And those are the kind of the questions that make Marymount girls empathetic. We're asking those questions. We're trying to see, we're leading with the heart, backed up by facts and our mind. But you don't have to be Catholic to attend Marymount. I think about 65% of our students are Catholic. We have Muslim students, we have Jewish students, we have many different students. And again, I said, we learn, we have world religion where you learn about Hinduism, Buddhism. You have the opportunity to explore and learn and educate yourself, not just about who you are, but about other people. We read the Quran, we read all these other books. So again, you have understanding. And if your child wants to choose a religion, they again have options because they have understanding. Most of our events happen actually in this, in the Church of Saint Ignatius Loyola. This right here is our lower middle school together having our like our holiday celebration, and it is singing, it is songs done in different languages, many different traditions, but it's a wonderful picture. And there's a moment where the lights go out and everyone has their candles, and very beautiful for the girls. Curriculum, of course, that's what you want to know about, right? What are we talking about? What are we doing in the school for all these hours that you have left your child with us? We have many different things in terms of our language arts, our math curriculum, Singapore math. Again, we have a lot of different, not necessarily traditional styles, but we are like a traditional school. But we're making sure that our students are tapping into these different universities to make sure that they are, again, growing above and beyond their years, but still having fun and enjoying themselves. But again, Singapore math. Something else that we do in our curriculum is that we have what's called the Pollyanna curriculum, which is also a racial literacy curriculum starting in kindergarten. Again, we're about building these global citizens, and the only way you can do that is to have a racial curriculum starting in kindergarten. We think that by building and letting people know about themselves, about other people, and what the history is starting in kindergarten really, again, creates different kind of children as they grow. Not sure if I said it, but again, remembering that our head of school is also a woman of color who also had 2 daughters go through Marymount. And this is very important to her that all students, again, are getting this education. Marymount is also across the street from the Met. We are on 84th Street and 5th Avenue in our main building, but we also are the only school that has 2 classrooms sitting in a museum. So those classrooms, we have the humanities, and again, starting in pre-K and in nursery, you have the opportunity to go across the street and take classes there. So this happens to be a picture of our art class. And again, what better place than the Met to see the world through art? And the girls have the opportunity to do that. And we have a uniform, in case you haven't noticed. We have a jumper. Girls are also allowed to wear pants. Another wonderful thing about Marymount that sets us apart is we are MIT accredited in terms of our Fab Lab. We are the first school and to have the Fab Lab and 3D printers. So a lot of other schools now have them. I'm sure if you've gone to the different places, a lot of people are talking about their Fab Labs and their 3D printers. We were the first. We also were one of the first people to print 3D masks for everyone in the hospital at Mount Sinai on 97th Street from our 3D printers, and they were made and crafted through programs that our students made right there in this lab. So science, again, is a big feature here at Marymount. This is our upper school idea lab. If you see in the back here, I don't know if you can see my arrow, but that's like the 3D printer back there. And again, all the tinkering things and the girls on their iPads, thinking, building, creating. If you see over here, the girls also, tinkering and building something. So it's a lot of different things. Some of them are creating video games. Some of them are creating things to help heal the world. And here we are with second graders, building things to change the world. This is what they call the invention convention. It's one of my favorite things that we do at Marymount, because the creativity that these second graders come up with is just fun. One person, it's my favorite that I remember because I go to these every year, but one was trying to figure out how to keep their brother quiet. You come up with a problem and then you have to solve it with a write-up, and you really investigate and do research, and then you create your what the tool is that you want to invent. And then after you create it, you also have to create a commercial for your invention, which I think is absolutely fabulous. So they're actually selling and telling people this is the best invention ever. You have to come, and there's no buying of anything. There's no competition, but they're trying to sell you to come to their table to see their invention. So I think this is like really great that there are lots of creative opportunities, but they're also creating things to help people. This is our lower school tinkering lab. Again, starting in lower school, they're tinkering, they're drawing, they're figuring out things to be printed on the 3D printer. And again, the lower school science lab. So a lot of the times you see the iPads there, you saw that in the other picture. They might be building it on the computer, and then they get the hands-on experience. So learning and finding this balance of how do you do it on technology, because we are, I mean, even so, more so now that we're doing remote learning, that how do you do it on the computer, but then how do you bring it to life with your hands? So they get the balance of both. And this is just our lower middle school STEAM lab, just showing you again what that looks like. We are also the only school that have Bloomberg terminals in their school. So you can find them on Wall Street, and you can find them on 84th Street and 5th Avenue. All of our high school students have to take the Bloomberg course in order to graduate, and then you are able to graduate with your Bloomberg certificate. They didn't have this when I was there, and I can't wait to take the course so that, especially now with the stock market, they have a lot of tips that they give us all the time about the stock market or where they think it's going and what's happening, which I think is absolutely phenomenal to be able to have that gift and to be able to get that in high school and graduate with the certificate. So you graduate with being an Apple Award winning girl, you end up graduating with your Bloomberg certificate. You went to an all-girls school, and you're able just to stand up and speak and be wonderful human beings. Again, performing arts. Another wonderful piece in regards to our performing arts is that we are also the only school that has a connection with Disney. So when Disney wants to, let's say, create a show or a book, is what they call it, for a children's stage play, they call Marymount. And they say, well, we're thinking of making, I don't know, let's say, I guess because it's the new show that just came out, Frozen 2, into a stage play for kindergarten kids. Can you test out what we wrote? And we go, absolutely. And then we try it out and we say, oh, this song doesn't work for this age group, or we have to make it much shorter and things like that. And the girls are able to do it. So this is the Jungle Book. So for the most part, a lot of our shows are Disney stories, but as you get older, of course, we change that. The performing arts is also very important at Marymount, because as you see here, the little lambs down below are our nursery and pre-K kids. We, again, starting very young, want our girls to find their voices. Although in our nursery and pre-K, we have boys. So we hope that they find their voices too while they're with us for those couple of years. It's mostly like siblings who are in the nursery and pre-K if they're boys. But we start, again, if you have to stand up there, for the most part, most of us would be very scared to stand there and perform or sing or say anything in front of a crowd of 300. And we're gearing them up to say, I can stand on this stage alone, I can speak, I can give this presentation and be great. If you don't sing, we have instruments. So again, tapping into both your left brain and your right brain is what we're doing here. So I think that's phenomenal. Gym, we want to make sure that, again, as a single-sex school, we're not tied down by stereotypes. We're making sure that you can really enjoy yourself and play. We have a PE for Life curriculum, which means that the girls are allowed to really, we want to make sure that you take PE and not just do it in the classroom, but take it outside of this space and are able to do it anywhere in your life. So we do things like rollerblading and bowling and show them how to still stay physically active. We're JV volleyball champs. We're varsity volleyball champs. In terms of food and eating, we eat family style. So we're not your typical school. Our school is very much like a mansion. You have these spaces. You can eat in these spaces, and it's like a home. We are a home. We have our little courtyard for the little ones, but we also play across the street at Central Park. Again, this is our home. You have our alumni parlor. You have our great room. And Marymount is building our new building, School of the Future. It is, again, a combination of our warm spirit and, again, just looking towards the future with lots of outdoor spaces, being able to pick fruit and food and cook it in our kitchen. These are some of the things that we will be having in our School of the Future. And that's a wrap. I want to make sure I'm able to answer some questions of yours.
Great. So if anyone has any questions, they can feel free to either type them in the chat, or you can use the raise hand function and you can unmute yourself. One thing that I want to know is how many students go and what the breakdown is in each class.
Yes, thank you for that. Sorry I didn't mention that. We have about 726 students in total. And then each grade, especially like in our lower grades, I know we have a mix of everyone here, that in our lower grades, the classes are broken down into A, B, C. So in kindergarten, you have kindergarten A, B, C. And the section A would have about 20 students. But then if we are going to English class, then you break up to just a group of about 6. And you have those groups, and each group of 6 has their own teacher. So you're learning how to read with just a group of 6 people and your one personal teacher, and then it also translates into math. As you get into our upper school, again, the classes, if you're taking a Spanish class, if you're taking an AP class, the classes are very small, where you are at most, you have 10 kids in that particular section of a class.
Awesome. People can feel free to, it doesn't necessarily, we have a question. What is the percentage of students of color?
Absolutely. We have 38% students of color. Most of our students are multiracial. Again, this kind of goes with our idea of being like an international school, because we have lots of students from different places. And those numbers are growing. And hopefully, as diversity coordinator, as a mother with a Black girl in the class, I'm always looking, and we're always hoping for more and more and more. But yeah, 38%, which is a high percentage in the independent school world.
Another question is approximately how many seats are available for students coming into 6th grade? And I don't know if this would translate to how many seats are available for each grade. I don't know if it changes based on the lower school, lower middle school, upper middle.
Yeah. Right, thank you. I think that's a very important question. 6th grade is a odd year for us, so I'll be honest there. The big entry points are kindergarten, 7th and 9th. However, there aren't ever any exact seats. So as you're going through this process, even if you hear somebody say that, that does not mean for you not to apply and not to try, because it's always an opportunity. And no matter what school you apply to, I always tell everyone, never take no for an answer. Just go, apply, do it, speak to the right people, get to know people, especially if you're interested in that school. Find someone that you can talk to, find someone that you can ask the questions to, so that way you can get in that door and make it happen. For most schools, 6th grade is a odd year, except for a couple. So I hope that was helpful.
Awesome. Again, feel free to answer or ask any questions, but one question that I have is, it seems like there's definitely a theme of art and humanities integrating themselves with STEAM and like science, technology, engineering, all of those things. So if you could speak to how the arts and left brain, right brain interact with each other.
Absolutely. That is our biggest thing. Like you said, we love to integrate all of it, because every child is different. Like if you happen to be more of an artist, we want to make sure that you can shine. If you happen to be more of a mathematician, we want to make sure you can shine. We actually have a class called the Humanities And that way, again, whatever your level of expertise is or your love, you're able to shine in the work in some sort of fashion. And we do that again with our curriculum because no one child is alike and everyone's learning style is different. And so we want to make sure that every kid at some point in their journey has this aha moment saying like, oh, this is where I can really shine. And then you get that confidence to really be able to grow and do your best work.
Awesome. We've got one question that is, how is financial aid allocated?
If you need it, ask for it. That's what I say, especially in this independent school world. If you need financial aid, you fill out a financial aid application and you ask for it. I always say, be honest with the things that you need. You cannot be shy when you're going through this process. You have to ask for what you want. Or as my mother says, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So ask if you need. There is no direct science to it. So we do offer financial aid. That is what I can say.
Awesome. The next question is, how many students are coming from the Westchester area?
I love that question because I'm close to Westchester and I live in the Bronx. I live in Riverdale and I commute into Manhattan all the time. And I did that as a student. So there are a lot of students who commute to coming and making that travel all the time. There are about, most of our students do not come from Manhattan. So we've got people that come from Long Island. We got people that come from New Jersey. It is not just Manhattan students.
Awesome. We've got about 2 minutes left. So again, everyone feel free to ask your questions in the chat. Is there a place where students can reach you if they suddenly think of a question tonight when they're reveling over the Bloomberg technology that they could be learning about?
Absolutely. If you go onto the marymountnyc.org website, I am there. If you go under diversity, so I'm the diversity coordinator, but do a lot with admissions. And I can be reached at, mine is pretty easy, kadams@marymountnyc.org. I'll type that in the chat. And feel free, again, I always say, you don't know what you don't know. And it's very important.
Someone asked if I graduated from Marymount. I wish I did. I'm just learning about it. I'm actually from Virginia. I go to Barnard, which is right around the corner. But I do go to an all-girls school. I'm an undergraduate student, and I can say that I wish that I had this in high school. The ability to advocate for yourself and communicate in an all-girls setting is something that I find so empowering in my undergraduate experience. We've only got a couple of seconds left. I don't know if you have any last notes that you want to make before we end the meeting.
As a parent, I've been through this process. You're going to see lots of schools. So I just say, find the school that best fits your heart. Okay. It's going to be hard. You're going to try to figure it all out. But go with your heart because you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that connection. And especially if you're starting in lower school, 13 years is a long time. Not only do you need to be happy with the institution, but so do all of you as a family. So it's so important. And whatever school, 8 hours a day, you're dropping your child off. Where is the best place that I feel most comfortable that my child is going to be, and who's going to take care of them, especially if you cannot be there. I'm a working parent. So wherever I leave my child, I want the people who are surround my child to be able to take care of them. And that's what I say is the most important. And where my children are, the people there love them as much as I do.